Is balance just a concept, or can it truly be attained in the throes of life's ceaseless ebb and flow? This question, my friends, is where our exploration begins today. I am known to many as the Buddha, the Awakened One, and I come before you to share insights into the middle way, the path that avoids the extremes of self-indulgence and self-mortification. It is the path that leads to liberation, to enlightenment, and to a balanced life. The middle way is not merely a concept. It is the very fabric of existence. It's the silent whisper of the breeze, the steady course of the river, and the harmonious dance between the sun and the moon. It is within this balance that life thrives, and it is within this balance that you can find your truest self. Let us begin by exploring the nature of desire. Desire is the fire that warms you, but left unchecked, it can consume you. I once lived a life of luxury, my every whim catered to within the walls of my palace. Yet, in these comforts, I found no lasting happiness. Realizing this, I renounced my life of pleasure, seeking enlightenment through the denial of all desires, through asceticism. In my years of austere practice, my body became frail, and my mind, though sharp, was still not at peace. I had traded one extreme for another, learning firsthand that neither path led to the truth I sought. The first lesson of the middle way, therefore, is understanding the futility of extremes. To illustrate, consider a lute. When its strings are too tight, they will snap. When too loose, they will not play. Only when they are tuned with balanced tension do they produce a harmonious sound. Your life, like these strings, requires a balance between effort and ease. Now, let me ask you, have you ever noticed how a tree stands firm? It is neither rigid nor lax. Its trunk is stable while its branches are flexible. This is the second lesson, to be rooted in stability while maintaining the ability to adapt. Life will present you with storms and tranquility, and like the tree, you must learn to stand firm through adversities and to sway gently with the winds of change. In my teachings, I often speak of the Eightfold Path, which is the practical application of the middle way. It encompasses right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Each aspect of this path is interconnected, with balance as its underlying principle. You cannot favor one over the other. You need to cultivate each aspect harmoniously to walk the middle way successfully. Consider the story of Angulimala, a bandit who wore a garland of fingers taken from his victims. He was feared and despised, living on the fringes of society, indulging in the extreme of violence. Yet, through the teachings of the middle way, he transformed into a compassionate being. This story serves as a powerful testament to the capacity for change that lies within all of us, regardless of our past actions. The third lesson is the realization that change is constant, and balance is not a destination but a continuous journey. To navigate this journey, you must remain vigilant, aware of each step, each breath, and each moment. It is in this awareness that you will find the wisdom to discern the middle path in all aspects of life. Now let me pose a question to you. What does it mean to live fully? It is not the pursuit of pleasure nor the denial of joy. To live fully is to experience life with equanimity, to see the rise and fall of all things with clarity, and to remain unmoved by the dualities of the world. As we progress on this path of balance, it is essential to practice meditation. Meditation is the art of maintaining inner equilibrium. It is through the quietude of the mind that you can see the nature of reality, uncolored by the hues of desire or aversion. The final lesson I present to you in this first part of our discourse is about the nature of suffering and its cessation. The Four Noble Truths are the cornerstone of my teachings, and they encapsulate the essence of the middle way. The truths teach that suffering exists. It has a cause, it has an end, and there is a path leading to its end. By understanding these truths, you begin to free yourself from the chains of extremes, moving closer to the peaceful heart of balance. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound lessons from the legend. In the tales of my life, you will find numerous examples of how I guided my disciples towards this equilibrium. Whether it was the wealthy merchant seeking peace or the devoted mother grappling with loss, the middle way provided refuge. It is a testament to the profound simplicity and effectiveness of this path. Now, let us pause and consider how these lessons apply to your own life. Think of the times you felt pulled by the currents of excess or the tug of deprivation. How can you navigate these waters to find the calm that lies in the middle? As we reach the end of this first segment, remember that the middle way is not an abstract philosophy, but a practical approach to life. It requires diligent practice, a deep understanding of one's thoughts and actions, and the courage to embrace change. In the next part of our discussion, I will delve into the subtleties of mindfulness and how it serves as the foundation for finding balance in every breath and step you take. Continuing our journey, we delve into the essence of mindfulness, the very core of the middle way. Mindfulness is the art of being fully present, fully aware of the here and now without judgment or distraction. It is the anchor that keeps you centered amidst the chaos of existence. The practice of mindfulness begins with the breath. The breath is a constant companion, a silent witness to the tumult of life. By focusing on the breath, you begin to cultivate an awareness that permeates all aspects of your being. This simple act of breathing mindfully can transform the mundane into the sacred, can turn the act of living into a meditation. The story of Kisagatami is a profound illustration of the power of mindfulness. Stricken by the death of her child, she roamed the streets in despair, seeking a medicine that could bring her son back to life. She came to me, and I asked her to find a mustard seed from a house untouched by death. Through her search, she realized that suffering is universal, and in that realization, her mind was freed from the grip of grief. Through mindfulness, she understood the impermanence of life and found solace in the truth. The fourth lesson I impart to you is the impermanence of all things. Everything arises and passes away. When you become deeply aware of this fact, when you truly understand the transient nature of happiness, sadness, success, and failure, you remain balanced, unaffected by the vicissitudes of life. You see, mindfulness is not passive. It is an active engagement with life. It is the watchful eye that observes both the internal and external worlds. It is the wisdom that knows when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to rest. Consider the simile of the ocean. Just as the ocean has many depths, so too does the mind. On the surface, there may be waves and storms, but in the depths, there is calm. Mindfulness is the practice that allows you to dive into these depths, to find peace, even when the surface is turbulent. As you cultivate mindfulness, you will also develop what is known as right view. This is the ability to see things as they truly are, not as you wish them to be. It is the discernment that recognizes the wholesome from the unwholesome, the beneficial from the harmful. Now take a moment to consider, when was the last time you truly observed your thoughts? When did you last listen to the silence between the sounds? This is the practice of mindfulness, and it is in this practice that the middle way becomes clear. In the stories of my life, I often spoke to my disciples about the importance of mindfulness, whether it was in the Jataka tales, where I recounted past lives and the karmic seeds that were sown, or in the Dhammapada, where I laid out the path of virtue. Mindfulness was always at the core. In the next part, we will explore how the practice of mindfulness can lead to deep insights and how these insights can steady the scales of balance in your life. Harmony's Path, Insight through Mindful Living. As we tread lightly upon the path of life, the practice of mindfulness leads us to profound insights. These insights are lanterns that illuminate the middle way, revealing the delicate balance required to navigate life's complexities. The fifth lesson I offer you is that insight arises from direct experience, not from intellectual understanding alone. It is one thing to know the water is wet. It is another to feel its coolness on your skin. Similarly, understanding the middle way conceptually pales in comparison to living it, to feeling its rhythm in the pulse of your daily life. Insight is the deep knowing that emerges when the mind is clear and the heart is open. It is the understanding that all things are interconnected, that your actions ripple across the pond of existence, touching all shores. When you act with mindfulness, you act with full awareness of this interconnectedness, and your actions become more compassionate and balanced. Take, for instance, the tale of the two monks who encountered a woman at a riverbank. One monk carried her across, despite their vows to avoid touching women. Later, the other monk questioned this action. The first monk replied, "I left the woman at the river. Are you still carrying her?" This story encapsulates the essence of insight, the ability to act appropriately, to let go, and to live in the present moment without clinging to the past. The sixth lesson is the recognition that attachment leads to suffering. This does not mean you should live a life devoid of relationships or possessions, but rather that you understand the transient nature of all things. You learn to love without possession, to live fully without clinging, and to experience without the fear of loss. Consider the life of a lotus flower. It roots in the muddy waters, yet blooms unsoiled above the surface. You too can live in the world amidst its mud and chaos without being tainted by it. This is the art of living mindfully, of maintaining purity of mind and spirit regardless of the circumstances. The practice of meditation is where insight is nurtured. Through meditation, you cultivate the silence necessary to hear the whispers of wisdom. It is in the quiet depths of contemplation that the noise of the world fades away and the voice of insight speaks clearly. Now let us explore how these insights apply to your life. When was the last time you paused to feel the texture of your experience, to truly inhabit the moment you were in? How often do you act out of habit rather than conscious choice? In the narratives of my life, whether through the dialogues with my disciples or the sermons to the lay people, the emphasis was always on direct experience and the cultivation of insight. The teachings were not meant to be passively received, but actively engaged with, questioned, and tested in the crucible of life. As we near the conclusion of this second part, remember that the middle way is not a passive resignation to fate. It is an active choice, a moment-to-moment decision to live with awareness and insight. In the next part, we will delve into the transformative power of compassion and how it serves as a guiding principle for those who walk the middle way. Resilience through empathy, navigating life's waves. In this next part of our exploration, we delve into the transformative power of compassion and how it serves as a guiding principle for those who walk the middle way. Compassion is not merely a sentiment, but a practice, a way of interacting with the world that acknowledges the inherent suffering present in all beings and seeks to alleviate it. The seventh lesson is that compassion begins with oneself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Therefore, self-care is not selfish, but essential. It is through understanding and alleviating your own suffering that you can genuinely empathize with others. Just as in the instructions given on an airplane to secure your own oxygen mask before assisting others, you must attend to your well-being to be of service. Cultivating compassion for oneself can be one of the most challenging practices. We are often our harshest critics, and it takes mindful effort to recognize and silence the inner voice of judgment. When you learn to treat yourself with the same kindness and forgiveness you offer a dear friend, you open the door to a more compassionate life. The eighth lesson involves extending this compassion outward to others. True compassion does not discriminate. It does not choose whom to help based on merit or worthiness. Just as the sun shines on all beings without distinction, your compassion must reach out to all friend and foe alike. This indiscriminate nature of compassion is exemplified in the parable of the Good Samaritan, who helped a stranger in need despite their differences. The Samaritan acted out of pure compassion, without expectation of reward or recognition, embodying the essence of selfless service. The practice of compassion has the power to transform relationships. It fosters a deep connection to others, an understanding that their happiness and suffering are as important as your own. When you interact with others from a place of compassion, conflicts are more easily resolved, and a sense of shared humanity is strengthened. Finally, the ninth lesson is the understanding that compassion and wisdom are two wings of the same bird. Without one, the other falters. Wisdom informs your compassion, ensuring that your help is not enabling but empowering. Compassion without wisdom can be misguided, while wisdom without compassion can be cold and detached. In meditation, you develop both compassion and wisdom. As you sit in silence, observing the rise and fall of sensations, thoughts, and emotions, you cultivate an understanding of the impermanence of all things. This insight fosters a compassionate response to the suffering that comes with attachment and aversion. As we conclude this part, reflect on how you can bring more compassion into your life. Can you find moments to be kinder to yourself? Are there opportunities to show compassion to someone you typically have difficulty with? In the next part, we will explore the practice of mindfulness as the thread that weaves together insight and compassion, enabling you to maintain balance as you navigate the ever-changing tides of existence. Mindfulness, weaving insight with compassionate ties. As we continue our journey through the teachings of the Middle Way, we turn our focus to mindfulness, the very thread that weaves together the fabric of insight and compassion. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and engaged with whatever we are doing at the moment, without distraction or judgment. The 10th lesson is that mindfulness is the gateway to living fully. When you are mindful, each moment is an opportunity to engage with life in a deep and meaningful way. Whether you are eating a meal, walking in nature, or listening to a friend, mindfulness invites you to experience every aspect of the moment with a sense of curiosity and openness. The practice of mindfulness can transform mundane activities into profound experiences. Consider the act of drinking a cup of tea. When done mindfully, it becomes a meditation. You become aware of the warmth of the cup in your hands, the aroma of the tea, the steam rising in delicate swirls, the subtle flavors playing on your tongue, and the warmth that spreads through your body with each sip. This level of attention can turn the simplest act into a celebration of life. The 11th lesson is that mindfulness is an antidote to suffering. By paying close attention to your thoughts and feelings, you become aware of the patterns that lead to suffering, such as rumination on the past or anxiety about the future. Mindfulness anchors you in the present, where you have the power to respond to life with wisdom and compassion. Mindfulness also reveals the interconnectedness of all things, fostering a sense of compassion. When you are truly present with someone, you listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. This deep listening is a powerful form of compassion, as it allows you to connect with others beyond the surface level, understanding their joys and sorrows as if they were your own. The 12th lesson is that mindfulness is a practice, not a perfect. It is an ongoing journey, and like any skill, it requires regular practice. Every moment is a new opportunity to practice mindfulness. When you find your mind wandering, gently bring it back to the present. This act of returning to the moment is where the practice grows stronger. Incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine can start with small steps. Begin by dedicating a few minutes each day to sit in silence and observe your breath. As you become more comfortable with this practice, expand it to other activities, always with the intention of being fully present. As we conclude this section, take a moment to reflect on the role of mindfulness in your own life. How often are you fully present in your daily activities? How might your experience of life change if you cultivated a deeper practice of mindfulness? In the next part, we will explore the culmination of these teachings, how insight, compassion, and mindfulness come together to illuminate the path towards enlightenment, the ultimate expression of the middle way. Enlightenment, the middle way's ultimate quest. As we reach the final part of our exploration into the middle way and its profound teachings, we arrive at the concept of enlightenment, the ultimate destination of this philosophical and spiritual journey. Enlightenment, or awakening, is the complete understanding and realization of the true nature of reality. The 13th lesson is that enlightenment is a state of liberation. It is freedom from the ignorance that binds us to the cycle of suffering. This liberation is not about escaping life, but about engaging with it so fully and with such deep understanding that one transcends the limitations and illusions of the ego. Enlightenment is not an achievement, but a removal, the peeling away of layers of misconception to reveal the truth that has always been present. It is the extinguishing of desire, aversion, and delusion, allowing for a state of perfect peace and contentment, nirvana. The 14th lesson is that the path to enlightenment is unique for each individual. While the teachings provide a roadmap, the journey itself is personal and direct. There are no shortcuts or one-size-fits-all solutions. It is a path of self-discovery, demanding rigorous honesty, deep introspection, and unwavering dedication. The journey towards enlightenment is filled with challenges. It requires one to confront and overcome deeply ingrained habits and patterns of thought. However, with each step on this path, the light of awareness grows stronger, illuminating both the internal and external worlds with clarity and understanding. The 15th and final lesson is that enlightenment is not an end, but a beginning. It marks the start of a life lived with boundless compassion, unfettered wisdom, and a heart unconfined by the individual self. An enlightened being serves as a beacon, guiding others towards liberation through their example and teachings. Enlightenment is often described as a state in which one sees the interconnectedness of all things, experiences a profound sense of peace, and possesses an unshakable understanding of the nature of reality. It is a state where the distinctions between self and other dissolve, where compassion flows naturally and effortlessly. In conclusion, the middle way offers a balanced approach to life, where wisdom and compassion are cultivated through mindfulness. It is a path that encourages a deep engagement with the world in a manner that is both fully present and detached from the clinging that causes suffering. As we part ways on this written journey, I invite you to reflect on the essence of these teachings and how they might continue to resonate and unfold within your own life. May your path be filled with insight. May your heart be held in compassion, and may your mind be ever present. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and each step on the path of the middle way is a step towards the ultimate freedom of enlightenment. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound lessons from the legend.